$42. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a federal magistrate on Friday ordered the government to disclose to him and to plaintiffs' attorneys a list of private organizations that receive access to the government's list of known or suspected terrorists. The Associated Press reports that Judge John Anderson issued the ruling at the conclusion of a hearing in U.S. District Court in Alexandria, which he angrily questioned government lawyers about their failure to previously disclose that hundreds of private entities, like universities and hospitals, receive access to the list. The government admitted earlier this month in a court filing that private groups like universities and hospitals receive access to the list, after denying in previous court hearings and depositions that they do. A government lawyer said the oversight was a mistake and there was no intention to deceive. The Council on American Islamic Relations is challenging the watch list's constitutionality. It says innocent Muslims are placed on the list by mistake and suffer numerous consequences as a result. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Your news now continues. As the world increasingly turns toward automation, science fiction is fast becoming a reality as automated solutions spring up both on the battlefield and in civilian life. Activist Post reports that in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, a new type of police officer has been sworn in. It's a robot cop going by the name KP Bot. The KP Bot has already attained the rank of sub-inspector, and according to India Today, already knows how to practice a perfect salute. The KP Bot is part of a push to integrate robots into the police force, which was announced last year by the state police chief at the Cocoon Cyber Conference, according to India Today. However, the KP Bot isn't quite ready to man a black and white or engage in beat cop activities. The female-featured robot will be restricted to the traditionally gendered occupational role of receptionist. U.S. government-sponsored student loan debt has become an escalating problem for the finances of many American households. Activist Post reports that the latest household debt report from the New York branch of the Federal Reserve indicates that Americans collectively owed $1.46 trillion in student loans at the end of 2018. That's more than any other category of non-housing related debt. Worse, the percentage of student loan debt that's in serious delinquency, where no debt payments have been made for at least 90 days or longer, has remained stuck within a range between 10.7% and 11.8% of the total borrowed since 2012. That's the highest of all forms of household debt. Since most of the money was borrowed from the U.S. government, the inability of American households to repay student loans represents a drain on the U.S. government's finances, where seriously delinquent student loans drive up the nation's budget deficits. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has stated that the burden of student loan debt hurts American households and will hurt the nation's economy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Allison Fry and Peter Hartman are a long-term couple. They've been trying out an open relationship that frees them to emotionally burden and exhaust other people.
We're both grown-ups. We both trust each other. It just seemed like the right time to open ourselves up to meeting other people and barraging them with our crippling emotional neediness.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still want to vent to Allison about all the anxieties I have at the office until she wishes I would just shut the up. But sometimes you just get the urge to sap the life out of a different woman for a change.
The flexible arrangement has allowed Fry and Hartman to participate in a variety of tiresome and psychologically draining one-off encounters with partners ranging from close acquaintances to total strangers.
Of course, there was a time when I couldn't imagine saddling anyone but Peter with my extensive emotional baggage and trust issues, but now that we've tried it...
The best part is, when we're back together, all we really want to do is drain the living out of each other.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us here, live Saturday edition of the program. The number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so head on over there and get interactive with not just us, but other listeners. You can chat 24 hours a day with other Free Talk Live listeners at the Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
Hey, Vin.
Hey, dude. Good to be back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
You just got back from the Liberty Forum a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, had a epic marathon live broadcast from there. Thank you so much for the press about that and the compliments on it. It was I don't think I've ever done that many hours within that short span of time.
Have you ever done like a live on location?
Oh yeah. For 20 years been doing those. Yeah. So that part was fine, and like that technically it went great, you know what I mean? Engineered the whole thing, and we had somebody sort of doing like PA running around grabbing guests.
Because you were doing video.
Stuff.
You weren't just doing an audio thing.
Yeah,
like
we did like a 3-camera video and then audio. And then we were running, we ran like Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree on there. So no, of course.
That brought a big smile to my face. I just love that movie.
I wanted to share it with people, so...
Everyone can see that movie, by the way. It's free. You can go to victimlesscrimespree.com. I brought some copies of it down on DVD.
Awesome.
There's only like 100 and some of those left in the world, basically.
Oh, wow.
Like as far as that, I mean, there's more than that out there in the world, but as far as that can be sold brand new, because it's out of print now. And so I brought those down there, and I didn't put a price tag on them, so a couple people just took copies, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I didn't put a price tag on them. So
well, now you've got to sign it. Derek's got to sign them now that you're down to the limited editions.
We did.
Oh,
we signed we signed like 30 of them.
Okay, great.
So yeah, we got a bunch of signed ones.
That's awesome.
So anyway, coming up here tonight, we can talk about the prostitution bust of the Patriots owner.
Yeah,
that's
I thought
an
that was
interesting
super
story.
Interesting.
Plus, 12-year-old journalist is confronted by an Arizona cop who, lies to her and tries to intimidate her. And for a 12-year-old, she does a pretty good job of standing up for herself. So I'd like to play the video.
Let's do it.
From that as well. And of course, you can bring up anything that you want here on Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. So we'll get into all that. Standing up for yourself. If a 12-year-old girl can do it, then anybody should be able to do this.
Absolutely.
So we go first to the phones, though, because Thomas is already on the line with us here.
Wow.
Listening in Myrtle Beach to WRNN FM. Hello, Thomas.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
I just pretty much was wondering, I play poker online, and it seems to be that Bitcoin is the best option to, withdraw and deposit. And I was just wondering if there are sites that clearly explain, every step of the process to purchase Bitcoin and, getting a wallet, stuff like that, because sometimes it's really confusing.
Bitcoin.com.
Yeah, and that's not just because Bitcoin.com is a sponsor of the show, but they are. It is actually a really, I would almost say, exhaustive website. There's an almost overwhelming amount of information, but a lot of it's really good on how to get started into the world of getting a wallet, getting it funded, getting your first fraction of a Bitcoin, or a whole one if you can afford it. Right now, it had a nice little jump up to around $4,100 US.
It did. It's on a roll. Shout out to Roger Ver, because honestly, he is truly passionate and devoted to just getting people able to use Bitcoin. I've been around this dude and watched him on board randoms, getting them to download a wallet, giving them a little bit of Bitcoin. I would definitely say go to bitcoin.com. The Bitcoin.com wallet is just fine. You can even purchase through the Bitcoin.com wallet. You can buy it with your credit card right there. So
that's pretty cool. That's hard to find.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yep.
I just wasn't sure if, like I said, if they just kind of expect you to know everything, or if they actually will, explain it. So.
No, and it's not that complicated. I mean, as we've said here, I actually just created a set of advertisements, radio ads for promoting Bitcoin here in the Keene area, which I've been doing kind of off and on over the last couple of years. But we've actually got ads running on 5 radio stations now, Vin.
Oh, wow.
Like different music stations and 1 sports station here in town. So we've got them all over the place. And the most recent set of ads that I created is about objections, like answering the common objections, like I can't afford it, or it's too complicated, or these different things that people come up with, and just kind of trying our best to, in 60 seconds, hammer out an answer to that objection, and then inviting people to come to Bitcoin Embassy, New Hampshire, to get a Bitcoin 101 class, which are free, by the way, here, which is pretty cool, just to give people the basics. But what we said in one of the ads is, if you can understand how to install an app, you can have a Bitcoin wallet.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
All right.
That'll get you started.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Thomas, for the call tonight. Check out Bitcoin.com. Appreciate hearing from you, and good luck with your online gambling. Which is a great thing about cryptocurrency, is it is a way to get around the banks, the banking system, which, as you know, if you're into online gambling, is a little difficult to do in the United States.
Incredibly difficult to do.
Several years ago, the federal government basically outlawed, not the act, from what I understand. Now, this isn't legal advice. This is just the basic research I've done.
Right.
The act of actually doing online gambling per se isn't illegal.
No.
At the federal level. It may be illegal at your state level, so check local regulations. But the feds don't make it illegal to gamble. They just make it illegal to transfer money into any gambling operation from a U.S.-based bank or credit card. So
it's illegal federally to have a gambling business, but it is not illegal to gamble per se.
As an individual.
Right, yeah.
So you can't, if you've got a gambling business, it better be based offshore.
That's right.
But you can have U.S. customers. You just can't facilitate the U.S. customers through the banking system. You can't take their credit card. You can't take ACH transfers. You can't take wire transfers.
Yes.
It's essentially a crime for the bank to do that. If the bank assists you with transferring money to a gambling operation, the bank is liable for whatever federal charges would be involved. So with Bitcoin, if you're buying Bitcoin, the person you're buying Bitcoin from doesn't need to know why you're buying it. The bank doesn't need to know why you're buying it. You just buy the Bitcoin that you want to buy, send it to whatever gambling site you trust, and then if you win, which you probably won't, but if you if you win, then you get Bitcoin back out of the site, and then you can hold on to it, or you can transfer it back into U.S. dollars, and nobody has to know why.
Yeah, Bitcoin actually has some gambling specific functionality that was built into even the very, very early version. So it's a perfect use for, well, first off, it's a perfect use for virtual currency anyway. I mean, I came from Vegas, and you can use the casino chips from the major casinos. I know plenty of people who are, servers or strippers. Strippers are happy to take a tip in a Wynn casino chip or a Caesars casino chip, because you may as well just use it like money. I'm really actually,
and they can go cash it out if they want to.
I'm really actually surprised that the casinos have been so late to take up cryptocurrency. I've thought for a long time that they'd be some of the first. But
you would think, wasn't there one, the D or something like that?
The D.
Took it?
Yeah, they've got they're just very friendly to it. They don't take it on the casino floor. They take it for I think rooms and the restaurants that are theirs.
Step in the right direction.
And they've got ATMs, several Bitcoin vending machines inside there.
Did you ever see the Mike Tyson Bitcoin vending machine?
I did, actually. I know the guy who did that and sort of wrapped it.
Yeah, with like a Mike Tyson graphic.
Yeah. They opened a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency centric strip club. I don't know how it ended up doing, but they opened it there. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, Legends Room it was called.
Oh, speaking of Vegas-related things, did you see Penn Jillette was wearing the Keen Great t-shirt?
No.
Yeah, dude. He got one and modeled it on his Twitter. It's pretty awesome.
Shout out to Penn.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
awesome,
ever meet
man.
him back when you
No,
were out
not.
there?
I mean, I became good friends with his wife actually, but he
okay.
was never around.
He's busy, I imagine.
Busy guy. Yeah.
He's always performing.
Yeah.
All right, there's more on the way here. We've got this 12-year-old journalist took a trip down to Arizona. It's not even where she's from. She's down in foreign territory reporting on a story down there, and a cop confronted her. She's on a bicycle, and this cop lies to her, threatens her, and she got it all on video. And we'll share that with you coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome. You can bring up anything you want. We're live here on Saturday night. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Free Talk Live.
Ms. Maxwell's local council has decided that the pool, which is only 2 feet deep, needs a lifeguard. It's a kiddie pool. As if the lifeguard wasn't enough, she's also been told she must have insurance. The health and safety edict came after she wrote to the city council asking for permission to put a bigger pool in the communal garden outside her home. That was her mistake, asking for permission rather than forgiveness. But nonetheless, not only was she told it was too dangerous, but the council told her to empty the existing pool. The Portsmouth manager defended the ruling yesterday. Nigel Selly said, "We didn't have sufficient assurances that the risks associated with providing such a facility would be well managed. It's a facility. How dare you? How dare you erect this structure on your property?
It's an inflatable pool.
Without our permission."
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And yeah, you can bring up anything. We hadn't intended to start the show talking about Bitcoin, but caller called in, had questions. We handle it.
Yep.
It's Ian and Vin in the studio here tonight. Also, speaking of cryptocurrency, if you want to accept cryptocurrency in real life, if you have a brick and mortar business where you want to take crypto at the point of sale, there's no better way, and I've looked at them all, than AnyPay.global. And if there is something else out there, I want to know about it because I want to evaluate it and see if it even matches up, because nothing comes close to the ease of using AnyPay. You just go and sign up, and when I say sign up, I mean you create a username and password. That's it. There's no paperwork. There's no jumping through hoops. There's not even a verification of the email, which I think is a mistake on their part. Because if you type your email in wrong, then you forget that you did that.
But you just
wrong.
do it again.
Yeah, well, that's true. You could just do it again. You're right. AnyPay.global is so easy to get started with. You put your cryptocurrency wallet destination address, so your wallet address is in the back end. Load the app on your point of sale device, and that's it. You're accepting Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, Dash, and more. In fact, I think they finally made it official that they're taking Dogecoin now through AnyPay.
Oh, that's awesome. And you can pay via my company, Cointex, which is integrated right into it with Dash and Bitcoin Cash. So you can do it with Dash. You can pay in U.S. and Canada, and with Bitcoin Cash, you can pay in 42 countries now.
Yeah, I love it. I've tried it, and it works
it's
really
fast.
easy. And of course, Cointext allows you to pay with a dumb phone.
That's right.
You don't even need a smartphone anymore for cryptocurrency, which is an amazing thing, especially in countries like Africa or other nations where not everybody's got a smartphone. Although that said, phone access in countries like Africa is actually relatively widespread.
It's growing, but it's still the smartphone penetration is still only like 40% or less worldwide. There's 4 billion phones.
Yeah. Wow. I can tell you when I was in Mexico, in Acapulco, staying in kind of old Acapulco, you're walking through some kind of trashy streets. There's garbage. It's not the prettiest place to be.
Right.
Like the lookout over the ocean's very beautiful, but once you look around the city, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, don't turn around.
You make sure you watch when you're walking, because you might step in some doggy doo that's been left all over the place from all the stray animals. But man, people are on their phones. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people with smartphones. So anyway, check it out, AnyPay.global. Get signed up over there. And if you're a merchant, it doesn't cost you to accept cryptocurrency, unlike credit cards, for instance, where you're paying at least 3% usually for a credit card transaction. It's free to accept crypto with AnyPay. Oh, and AnyPay's now online, doing online acceptance, but in a limited fashion. They've rolled out egifter.com. So if you want to buy gift cards with Dash, then AnyPay is going to be your payment method through egifter.com. So there's some cool stuff going on with the guys over at AnyPay. I got to hang out with them at Anarchapulco last weekend.
Great guys.
So that was fun. AnyPay.global. So here's the story from Huffington Post. A 12-year-old Pennsylvania reporter chasing down a news tip calmly faced down a Patagonia, Arizona marshal who pulled her over on her bike and reportedly threatened to throw her into juvenile detention. Journalist Hilde Lysiak, publisher and star reporter of the Orange Street News website, wrote a story about the encounter and posted a video of the law enforcement officer. The article triggered several complaints, and the town of Patagonia announced it had taken appropriate, quote, action concerning the marshal, which it didn't specify. That probably means they had a conversation with him.
Strong talking to.
And that's about it. Hey, buddy, don't do this again if you're on camera. Marshal Joseph Patterson pulled Lysiak over Monday afternoon as she was riding her bike down a street in pursuit of her story, she reported on her site. She said the officer demanded identification because, all 12-year-olds.
12-year-old?
And she identified herself as a member of the press. The young publisher has been in Arizona to cover border issues, according to Pennsylvania's York Dispatch. He said to her, well, rather than reading the Huffington Post's quotes of this, he said, quote, I don't want to hear about any of that freedom of the press stuff, he said, and then added, I'm going to have you arrested and thrown in juvie. Now, I think this was actually before she started recording. He had, kind of tried to intimidate her. She later filmed him with her cell phone in another encounter soon afterward. And so that's where we're going to pick up on the video here from Hilde Lysiak. I presume I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I may not be. So here it is from her YouTube channel, which is called Orange Street News. This is her on the side of a road. She's on her bicycle versus a cop in one of those big cop SUV vehicles.
Okay.
You stopped me earlier and you said that I could be thrown in juvie. What exactly am I doing that's legal?
So, when I left the office, you were over there talking and you quickly... You taping me? You can tape me.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
But what I'm going to tell you is if you put my face on the internet...
She's recording his face right now, by the way, as he's saying this. What I'm going to tell you is you put my face on the internet.
It's against the law.
That, sir, is a lie.
That's not true at all. You can record police.
In fact, it is your right to record the police, especially if the police are in public. Even in states like New Hampshire, which is honestly one of the worst states as far as its so-called wiretapping laws are concerned. I think New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Illinois, and maybe another one. There's a handful of states that have the all parties must consent version of wiretapping, which is the worst. It's horrible, and it's very bad for like undercover journalism. And, like, you know, you're trying to bust like, you know, a shifty automotive repair shop, and you want to go in with a you know, undercover camera. Sorry, you can't do that in New Hampshire. It's illegal. You're recording somebody's conversation without their knowledge and consent, and that's technically that's a misdemeanor wiretapping.
But it seems like that should not be the case for a public official on the public dime in public. That sounds crazy to me.
So there has been a carve-out that came from a court decision in a case regarding a man in Manchester who the police were raiding his home, and he recorded that, and then they tried charging him with wiretapping.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for recording the police in his own home. The judge said, no, there's an exemption to recording public officials, basically.
Oh, okay.
So... And, of course, federal courts have also ruled in a multitude of cases that you have a right to record the police, period. I mean, if they're on the job, they're on the record, and it doesn't matter if they're outside or inside your home or wherever you, as I understand it, again, not a lawyer, not legal advice, but you have a right to record these people.
Right.
And this girl's 12 years old. You know, the stories about her, she's actually been reporting on news she's again from Pennsylvania, so she's actually in Arizona when this happened.
Okay, I've got just a quick question on this.
But since she was 8 years old, she's been doing news reporting for a third of her entire life. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't understand. She's rolling around by herself. She's 12 years old. She's from Pennsylvania. But she's in Arizona. I can't imagine. I'm a father of a young daughter. I can't imagine being like, okay, you'll just go halfway across the country. Just go ahead and ride down the street on your bike, no problem, by yourself. I got to hear more about this.
Yeah, we're going to get into that because she actually has some comments for parents, overprotective parents here. So we'll get into that coming up here in moments. Now, maybe her parents are with her somewhere in Arizona, but they weren't with her in this moment. More coming up here in your calls and thoughts are welcome. Our number is 855-450-FREE, plus a little bit more from this video, about another minute to go, with her versus this cop trying to lie and intimidate her. Luckily, she didn't get attacked by him. It's Free Talk Live.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Forget the road.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. 12-year-old journalist Hilde Lysiak stands up to intimidation attempts by a cop in a strange town. She was halfway across the United States from her home of Pennsylvania. She was in Arizona at the time. So
that's more than halfway.
Yeah, on foreign turf.
Yeah.
On uncertain ground, and this man tried to intimidate her. She stood up to it. Not only that, she recorded video, and we'll share that more of the audio from that here with you in just moments. Ian and Vin in the studio tonight. Don't forget, you can join us online. Head over to freetalklive.com. We have a Twitch feed. Twitch is an online video streaming platform. You can go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can follow us there. In fact, we're, I think, getting close to 700 followers on Twitch, so thank you to everybody that has followed us there. And it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Just a little bit of time to create an account and then hit the follow button. And then you'll get notices whenever it is that we go live on Twitch, which also includes notices when some of the other shows on LRN.FM go live as well. So check that out. It's another free way for you to encounter Free Talk Live and get interactive with some of the listeners in the Twitch chat room, although our chat is best, and the best chat is our Discord server, but Twitch does have its own. Twitch.lrn.fm. Let's go to the phones and then back to the video of the 12-year-old journalist versus the cop. Tom, though, is on the line in Hudson, New Hampshire, listening online. Go ahead, Tom.
There's a wrinkle in that big news story about how the owner of the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft, got arrested in a prostitution sting in Florida. Namely, that this spa, these women were forced. They're sex slaves being trafficked against their will. and
really?
that they were being. Oh, that's one of the things I've been reading about, and that would be a major factor, obviously, but people got to remember.
Well, he may or may not have known that, just to be clear, right? Like if you're just going into a Jack Shack, you don't necessarily know what the arrangements are between the house and its girls.
Well, which is weird that a billionaire is choosing to go into a strip mall rub and tug, right? That seems a little strange to me.
What you're saying is he could afford a higher class call girl than that?
He could afford to have, like, if he wanted the ambiance of that, he probably could have bought his own and like staffed it with his own people. It's very strange that he would put himself in such a. Maybe that was the turn on.
Maybe it's exciting.
Maybe that was the turn on.
Maybe what the thing is, though. I strongly object to people being forced into that stuff too.
Sure. Of course,
women that don't like being treated like merchandise. My answer is, how many of those ladies go on a date and pay the bill? Oh, no. That's not how it works. She's still merchandise.
Wait a minute, though. But there's a difference between being a... I don't know that there's any excuse for if these women were truly trafficked, like sex slavery. I don't see the like if they didn't like to pay the bill when they went out. I mean, that's not relevant. I don't think that's relevant to sex slavery.
No, it's not relevant to slavery, but to the whole attitude that women are merchandise, which is a much larger category, upon a much broader category. That they treat women like they're merchandise. Well, why is slut a nasty word? Except that. The women who feel threatened because here's a competitor who's not charging as much. Oh, no, she's, it's perfectly okay for a couple of homosexuals to go have a gay old time, but it's not okay for her to give it away to men because now, she's, that's a threatening competition.
Okay, I'm confused. Are you defending this? Are you defending being a slut? Or are you slut shaming?
Absolutely.
I'm not really. Okay, you are defending it. That's what I thought.
Good for you.
That's what I thought.
So
what you're saying is, hold on, are you saying that there's a group of women who slut shame because they're mad that they're devaluing the value of sex?
Yeah.
Okay, I follow. I see what you're saying.
Some women slut shame because they want to make believe because they want to make the guy have to go through all these
so I think that's true.
Labyrinth of procedures and pay all the bills.
See, there's a reason for this, though. There's a very, very good reason, and the reason is that there is a sexual marketplace. I wrote about this in my first book.
You might know a thing or two about that.
2011, yeah. I would be one person who might be an expert on this, and really, this is like a biological and evolutionary of why you would want to do this, and it's just because there's a sexual marketplace, and it's pure and simple economics. If you're an individual and you've got something of value, the last thing you want is someone else out there who's giving away that same thing that's, let's say, fungible. Mm-hmm. The last thing you want is them giving it away for free. So it's like if I own, a whole bunch of Bitcoins, the last thing I want everybody else to be holding and to be selling at the price that I want to sell at. If I don't want to sell until they're at 10,000, I don't want you going out and being like, "Hey, dude, Bitcoins for $1, and crashing the market."
Yeah.
So that's really what this is about. Is that it's like we evolved in a competitive marketplace. It's pure and simple economics that, like, of course, if you're expecting to get a certain price for what you've got, and that price is going to be, stable home, good husband, a committed relationship, all of these things, doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, but it's like, hey, I'm kind of interested in that guy, but I would really like him to be in a relationship with me. And then here you are, you're just going to give it away. Well, obviously he's going to go for the easiest one.
Well, it depends. I mean, not everybody is looking for just somebody who's easy, but certainly there's a demand in the market.
If it's fungible, right?
Yeah.
I think the assumption has to be that a man is going to prefer, if he's a single guy, he's single, he's out doing whatever. all things being equal, he's going to prefer a woman who's more available. Let's just say that. All things being equal. He would prefer her more available than less available.
That's
most
probably
men.
true. And
most
more
men.
affordable compared to less affordable. I mean, that's definitely true for most guys. And that's why, and thanks, Tom, for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you on that. Excluding the person giving it away entirely,
right?
There's also a set of women who are mad about prostitution, period.
Sure.
Right? Because even though prostitutes are professionals and they're charging for a service, it's still a simpler process of ordering a prostitute than it is, like Tom was saying, you got to take them out to dinner, you got to go and do all these things. If you're just a guy looking for sex, I mean, if some people are looking for more than that. They're looking for a relationship, they're looking for love, they're looking for a connection, which a sexual encounter isn't going to necessarily give them. But there are definitely plenty of guys who are looking for just sex, and they ought to be able, and gals, I'm sure they're out there too.
Absolutely.
And they ought to be able to find it in the marketplace, but unfortunately, it's illegal in most places. 49 out of 50 states, I think it's illegal. And I guess this guy, the Patriots dude, was down in Florida at the time.
It's illegal there.
Yep.
But you can definitely find a rub and tug massage parlor. Most of them are. That's
what I've heard.
If you see a massage parlor and it's got the neon open sign at like midnight, you're driving by after the club. Come on, dude. Nobody's getting shiatsu. There's not the high midnight shiatsu crowd. That's not. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You're not getting the college-educated massage pro at 1 a.m.
No.
You're getting a happy ending, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mark and I, of course, are originally from Florida, so we're down there. I've never been to one of these places. I don't pursue that kind of stuff. But Mark has told me, and I don't know how he knows this, but
just heard it from a friend.
Yeah, sure, a friend from a friend. That there's a lot of them, and that usually the cops look the other way. On these places.
Well, they frequent them.
I bet you that's true as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
of course they do.
The cops are horn dogs.
When I was in that business, I had many law enforcement clients.
Well, just to be clear, you were a gigolo and you had female clients.
Yes.
So you had cop clients.
Yes,
wow.
at every level. State, federal. I had federal special agent clients. Absolutely.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, more coming up here. The toll-free number here, whether you want to talk about prostitution. Now, of course, everybody's against sex slavery, but prostitution, if it were legal, you'd see less sex slavery. You'd see a lot less. More coming up here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, more of the cop versus the 12-year-old journalist coming up.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with two beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. Call right now before it's too late. 800-213-9264.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are
having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the program. You are invited here. If you want to join us on the air, you can do that. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Thanks to Jacob Parrish. He is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier, one of our longtime supporters here. The AMP program stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's $5 a month. You get some cool perks as an amplifier, and you can feel good because you're helping us get on more radio stations, bringing new internet listeners on board with the show, exposing new people to the ideas of freedom, because sadly, we're the only show in national syndication that actually does that. We don't have any competition. It's just the way it is. I wish it weren't true, but it is. So if you want to help us get on, let's see, we're at 194 stations, I think, right now. If you want to get us to 300, we can do it. It just takes some money to market the show effectively and get into new stations, pitch the show to program directors around the country. And that's what I do during the week. That's during the daytime hours, I'm calling program directors, talking to them.
Do you ever stop working?
You can take time out. When you do your own thing. You know this, Finn. Sure, I mean, you've got your own thing that you do over at cointext.io.
Yep.
You got to carve out time for yourself. You got to carve out time for the family. You got to carve out time for the important things for you. So yes, I mean I'm able to do that, but the to-do list never ends. It just keeps on growing.
Exactly.
So the more time you carve out, the more catch up you got to do. And I don't mind it because I love to do it. Anyway, if you want to help us with that, please join the AMP program like Jacob did, and it's only $5 a month. You can do it with PayPal, credit card, or Bitcoin BTC over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's amp.freetalklive.com. And some of the perks you'll get include access to our supporters chat rooms on the Discord. There's an AMP-only Facebook group still for those of you that are still into Facebook, and more. Go and get the details at amp.freetalklive.com. We'll get into more of the audio from the video of the 12-year-old journalist versus an intimidating, threatening cop, intimidating, threatening cop, here in a few moments. But first, we go to Matthew in Louisiana watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, so
yes, sir.
I called yesterday talking about the great demonetization because some pervs were watching, girls in bathing suits, and they were time-stamping the juicy parts, right?
Yes. Yeah, I heard about that.
It made me think about something. So are we going to get to the point where you cannot post an image of a female human in anything less than a cardboard tube online? Or are we just going to get to the point where female humans that are less than the age of consent, whatever that happens to be, wherever you happen to be, are just going to have to be locked away and nobody can ever look at them. At least they want to spank their monkey.
I think the answer is yes. One of the interesting things that this is one of the most forgotten parts about Orwell's 1984 is that there is this whole thing of the Young Women's Anti-Sex League. And that
they sound like a fun bunch.
Well, it's
like the temperance movement.
Yeah, 1984 is kind of meant to be a love story, and one of the things is that sex in this society is meant to be really pushed down, subsumed. And so the women walk around with these purple sashes, which kind of reminds me a little bit of like purple hair, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But they walk around with these purple sashes, and that means they're part of the Young Women's Anti-Sex League. And so it's this very sort of puritanical ideal, but it's interesting that Orwell had said, oh yeah, here are the different characteristics of a authoritarian, totalitarian state. One of the things that they're going to try to do is they're going to try to suppress sex. That's the sort of sexual awakening of the main character, Winston, is basically the entire reason for his downfall. It's the entire the basis of his coming into his own personal revolution against the government of Oceania. It's his own enlightenment into his own liberty. It's all sexual, and it's because it's heavily repressed. And so I think some of this, it was weird when I watched that guy and he broke this whole thing down. Even some of what he was doing seemed contrived. It seemed like a problem reaction solution. There certainly is going to be a crackdown. I think this caller, I think you're on to something there. I think you're seeing something. I do think that that's one of the things you need to do as an authoritarian regime. Think about the things that they do, the ISIS and all of that. What do? They put the women in burqas and all of that. When you have an authoritarian regime, one of the things is you've got to take female sexuality out of the picture, because you know what? If you want to control men, the first thing you do is control female sexuality.
It's not going to work, though, right? I mean, you can try to control that, but it's a natural drive that many people have, and it seems to me whenever you try to repress a thing that it still gets out through the cracks, and it comes out in ways that are even more deprived and depraved.
Agreed.
You put Puritans in charge, and you end up with a bunch of sexual freaks.
100%.
Yeah, this is the Young Women's Sexual Purity League.
No, it was called the Young Women's Anti-Sex League. That's the Yes, that's from 1984, and it's one of the many. It's one of the things that's left out of like the movie. That's why I tell people read 1984 or listen to the audiobook. The movie, there's nothing in it. It's the Young Women's Anti-Sex League. Then you've got the little kids are all part of something called the Spies. They're turning their parents in to the government.
That happens today.
Yes. I mean, it's a prophecy. He wrote it in 1948, man.
There's stories about children in school being encouraged to snitch out their parents for doing things like smoking pot.
That's right.
That's happened.
Yes. Yeah, it was they say that there's a group of folks among us who view 1984 as an instruction manual, and if he meant it as a warning, but if you really want
reverse,
fake news, that's right in there. That's what the guy, the hero does. Winston Smith, he creates fake news in the Ministry of Truth. I tell everybody, read 1984, man. It's happening right now.
Well, Matthew, I don't think that you really have to worry that people are going to be putting cardboard boxes or clothes on. I mean, if you look at the society that we have here, it's an Instagram world right now, where and the pendulum could swing in a different direction, but right now everybody who's male or female, it seems like they're all about getting attention for themselves by putting their pretty moments on Instagram and showing off for everybody, and they want to get all the likes that they can, and of course many people believe that they're going to get more likes if they show more skin. I mean, these are old. Yeah,
they will.
Well,
these are old ideas.
I am foreseeing some do-gooder. Either they call themselves a conservative, small government, my butthole hurts, or they call themselves a woke feminist, passing some kind of weird law, whereas if you look at a female human under the age of consent who is not your daughter, jail time for you, he who bears the penis.
I think it's going to come more. I see it coming more from the left. It's crazy because some of these conservative types now, I really think are much more open to sexual displays, much more open to the idea, especially of female beauty, of the idea that a woman should strive to be attractive, should perhaps wear makeup, put on some high heels, put on a nice outfit. People on the right seem way more, even the most conservative, Bible-thumping individuals seem more open to that now than the left in general. Wouldn't you say that?
I don't hang around them, so
a lot of that revolves around your definition of the age of consent. And these characters also seem to want to push it up to 26.
Yeah, that's weird.
Who's arguing for that?
Because that's the age where your brain has fully developed.
Yeah, I think we talked about this on one time that I was in here, that there was somebody who was who was actually pushing to say that adulthood should start at the age of 26.
I find this despicable, I'd like to say. I am of the reverse mindset that people should be able to develop at whatever rate they are able to develop and interested in developing, and have and bring into their lives whatever responsibilities they would like to bring in, whether it's working, starting their own business, doing things that are responsible, what we have in society today. And thank you, Matthew.
The way I look at it is that if you want to discuss changing the age of consent, then you should also discuss changing the age at which they get to keep and bear arms.
Oh, I totally agree. Yes. No, I totally agree. In fact, I think that young people should be able to open up bank accounts. They should be able to get into contracts.
I agree.
They should be able to do all of those things at the age they're ready to accept the responsibility for it.
I agree.
And
I had a job from the age of 12.
Right. And it's different for everybody.
Yep.
But if you have a policy where no one shall make a decision for their own life until they're 26 years old, you're going to have a bunch of 26-year-old children. And that's messed up. I'm sorry. That's not cool. You've already got the problem with college students getting out of college and never having worked a single day in their lives, never having driven a car. I mean, this is happening right now. There's more coming up here in moments. In fact, this Hilde Lysiak, the 12-year-old journalist, she actually has some opinions on this as well. Coming up, this is Free Talk Live.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll-free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,326. Silver opened at $15.87. And Bitcoin was trading around $3,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a federal magistrate on Friday ordered the government to disclose to him and to plaintiffs' attorneys a list of private organizations that receive access to the government's list of known or suspected terrorists. The Associated Press reports that Judge John Anderson issued the ruling at the conclusion of a hearing in U.S. District Court in Alexandria, which he angrily questioned government lawyers about their failure to previously disclose that hundreds of private entities, like universities and hospitals, receive access to the list. The government admitted earlier this month in a court filing that private groups like universities and hospitals receive access to the list, after denying in previous court hearings and depositions that they do. A government lawyer said the oversight was a mistake and there was no intention to deceive. The Council on American Islamic Relations is challenging the watch list's constitutionality. It says innocent Muslims are placed on the list by mistake and suffer numerous consequences as a result. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Your news now continues. As the world increasingly turns toward automation, science fiction is fast becoming a reality as automated solutions spring up both on the battlefield and in civilian life. Activist Post reports that in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, a new type of police officer has been sworn in. It's a robot cop going by the name KP Bot. The KP Bot has already attained the rank of sub-inspector, and according to India Today, already knows how to practice a perfect salute. The KP Bot is part of a push to integrate robots into the police force, which was announced last year by the state police chief at the Cocoon Cyber Conference, according to India Today. However, the KP Bot isn't quite ready to man a black and white or engage in beat cop activities. The female-featured robot will be restricted to the traditionally gendered occupational role of receptionist. U.S. government-sponsored student loan debt has become an escalating problem for the finances of many American households. Activist Post reports that the latest household debt report from the New York branch of the Federal Reserve indicates that Americans collectively owed $1.46 trillion in student loans at the end of 2018. That's more than any other category of non-housing related debt. Worse, the percentage of student loan debt that's in serious delinquency, where no debt payments have been made for at least 90 days or longer, has remained stuck within a range between 10.7% and 11.8% of the total borrowed since 2012. That's the highest of all forms of household debt. Since most of the money was borrowed from the U.S. government, the inability of American households to repay student loans represents a drain on the U.S. government's finances, where seriously delinquent student loans drive up the nation's budget deficits. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has stated that the burden of student loan debt hurts American households and will hurt the nation's economy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Buying a burger might start taking a bite out of your wallet. Meat prices skyrocketed this week after the place that makes the meat revealed that the cow smashing machine is all beefed up.
This machine has beef way up in it. The basher, the meat collector, even the main meat hole, all of it. Lousy with beef.
The cow smashing machine is an integral part of the meat making process, taking whole big cows into one end, with all different meats falling out the other. Supermarket chains warn that unless we start smashing cows again soon, we could face a serious beef shortage. The beef industry is working hard to unclog the cow smasher, but says it could take several days or even weeks to scoop all the beef that's crammed up in there. Until it's fixed, meat-hungry Americans can take solace in the fact that the chicken grinder is working at full capacity, just completely tearing up all those chickens, and the pig machine is porking out hardcore. Up next, bluesmen find a rising trend of their babies done leaving on that their old devil train.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in here toll free. Take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, we got more of the audio from the video of 12-year-old journalist Hilde Lysiak threatened by a police officer in Arizona. She wasn't even from Patagonia, Arizona. She was just working on a story there because she's a journalist and has been one for the last 4 years of her life, starting at 8 years old.
It's amazing.
In her little town where she lives in Pennsylvania. But she encountered this police officer apparently a little bit earlier in the afternoon where he threatened to throw her into juvie. And then she encountered him again a little bit later on. And this second encounter was when she brought her cell phone camera out.
Good for her.
And recorded this, which is what everybody ought to do.
Yes.
Whenever the police are pulling you over or talking to you or trying to talk to you, because again, you're not obligated to talk to the police.
Mm-hmm.
And, Hilda's 12. She probably hasn't had a whole lot of encounters with police like this. But it's a learning experience, and I think that we can learn from this as well. And so I'm going to play some more of this audio. We only are about 16 seconds into what is just under a 2-minute long video.
Do you want to start it from the beginning?
Might as well.
Yeah.
It's Ian and Vin here in the studio tonight. So this is Hilda in Patagonia, Arizona. She's on the side of a road. She's on her bicycle, and the cop is in his big old SUV looking all tough, trying to intimidate her. So here we go. Here's the audio.
You stopped me earlier, and you said that I could be thrown in juvie. What exactly am I doing that's legal?
So... Good move, by the way. If you're gonna talk to the police, which is generally a bad idea, you should ask them the questions. It's the old sales adage: he who is asking the questions is winning. So if the cops are asking you questions and you're answering, you're not winning. If you're asking the cops questions, that puts them on the defensive. And so it was a good move on her part. And that's what you would expect from a reporter, right?
Yes,
ask questions.
Absolutely.
When I left the office, you were over there talking, and you quickly... You taping me? You can tape me.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
But
it's not a tape, dude. It's a phone. Just saying.
What I'm going to tell you is if you put my face on the internet, it's against the law.
False. That's a lie. And it's not illegal, by the way, for the police to lie to you. So they can tell you whatever lies they want to, and it's totally legal for them to do that. But if you lie to, say, a federal agent, that's a federal crime. Yeah, so let's go on.
In Arizona, okay?
In Arizona, also a lie.
Permission to use my picture or my face on the internet.
Okay, this is a common refrain that you'll hear from people in public, not just the police, but also just average people. If you're out in public recording, I didn't give you permission. You didn't need to. You stepped outside of your house.
Right, you're in public.
You don't want to have somebody see you? Go put a burqa on.
Right.
Okay, go put a mask on or something like that. Of course, in a lot of places it's illegal to wear masks in public, but not in New Hampshire. So if you don't want to be seen in public and you don't want to be recorded, don't leave your house.
Right.
There are ways for you to disguise yourself. Go ahead and disguise yourself.
Yeah,
if
put
you
on
don't
a disguise. Put on a fake mustache and a hat and glasses. And the whole
you can
thing.
do that
Yeah,
if
sure.
that's what you're concerned with. And I don't want to say that I make a point as a somebody with a video camera, a reporter, or whatever you want to call me. I don't make a point of trying to record average people in public. They're not interesting to me. No. That's not the news. That's not what I'm there to do. But if I'm recording something happening and there's an average person that happens to be in that place where that something is happening, whether it be the police arresting somebody or whatever it is, well, I'm sorry. You know, you were there. I'm sorry, I didn't try to capture you on the video, but you ended up on the video.
Right.
I'm not going to blur your face out because I don't care. That's what happened. I want to present what happened. And she actually tells the cop at one point she can blur his face out. We'll get to that here. Here we go.
Okay.
Understand all that?
I understand that.
So when you saw us leave, you quickly left the boy that you were with.
Okay, now remember, the cop is answering the question of what it is that she has done that is illegal or what is he threatening her over. You quickly left the boy you were with, is what he said. Huh? What?
Is there more to it than that or no?
Let's go on.
And you followed us down to 320 Roadrunner.
Oh.
And when we came back out, because we had to go somewhere else for an urgent call, you followed me again.
Oh, you don't like to be followed by a reporter, huh, officer?
Okay, first off, she's on a bike, right?
Yeah.
She's 12.
Yeah, and he's in a big old, Chevy Silverado.
He's in a car. Now, I don't know. I can't see her because I'm not looking at your screen.
Yeah.
But does she have, Lance Armstrong legs on her?
She's a little girl, man.
So... how far could she follow him? 55 feet? I don't understand. You're in a car, dude.
Right.
What? I don't get this.
He's in I think it's a Silverado. I think you can see the name of the truck on the side. It's a monster kind of vehicle.
She's
here.
She's hitting does she have ET on the front? Is she flying? What's the deal?
You're just a whiny little bitch cop. I mean, you followed me down the road. You can't follow the cops.
Yeah, and how's that illegal?
Boom! Good question. How's that illegal?
Follow law enforcement because you already came in and told me you were...
Let me jump it back here. Hang on.
Yeah, and how's that illegal?
So don't follow law enforcement because you already came in and told me you were a reporter.
Yeah,
and I don't want you to get hurt.
Oh, see, he's just trying to keep her safe, Finn. See, this is all about...
But it's not illegal for her to do something where she could possibly get hurt.
Yeah, but he's just trying to keep her safe. He's worried about her safety. She shouldn't be following him around. He's a cop. He gets into dangerous situations. I mean, there could be
Now, hold on 1 second. If I'm her parent, right, and
you are the parent of a girl.
And I am, and my daughter told me that she was following people around, okay? There are lots of different types of people to follow around.
Sure.
But... if he's a cop and if he's a good guy, shouldn't he want her to be following him around as opposed to, say, someone who might actually be wanting to do her harm? If he's this protective, wonderful individual, I would say, please, like I tell my daughter when we're at the store, follow me close. Why do I want her to follow me close? Because if she's close to me, I'm going to make sure she's safe. If this cop has good intentions for her, he should be like, please follow me.
I see what you're saying.
Do you see what I'm saying
If he indeed is doing honest things as a police officer, he shouldn't have anything to hide. But what he's doing is he's using this kind of ageist approach, and she actually wrote an article about this. She uses the term youthism instead of ageism, which is, she coined the term. It's, the idea of discriminating against somebody because of their age.
I like that.
Specifically because they're young. And so he's like, oh, little girl, you shouldn't be following me. It's dangerous. I'm a cop and my job is dangerous, so I don't want to put you in danger. So that's why you shouldn't follow me. I mean, I might just drive down the road and get involved in a firefight. We wouldn't want you to get hurt.
In Patagonia, Arizona, come on, dude. Really, is your life, are you living on the line in Patagonia, Arizona, in the mean streets of Patagonia?
How many people live in Patagonia?
I'm going to guess under 50,000.
And way under 880. Oh, man.
Okay, it's real dangerous. Real dangerous in a town of 880 people where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, this is probably one of 5 cops or something like that.
Oh, dude, for 880 people, you've probably got 2 cops.
Maybe.
You've got the chief of police and the deputy. It's Mayberry, for crying out loud.
Let me go on here.
I understand.
I'm looking out for your safety.
Okay.
Okay? The area you were in is where we're dealing with the mountain lion.
Oh, there's a mountain lion on the loose. See, he's just looking out for her, Vin. He's trying to protect her.
Is that police? Look, here's the deal. If the place that you live in, if what the police are concerned with is a mountain lion, This little girl can follow you around. There's no...
Well, once again, that's another argument that you were making that bolsters your argument. If there's a mountain lion around, the cop's got a gun.
Yeah,
right?
follow me,
she
please.
Doesn't.
There's a mountain lion.
Yeah. But no, he wants her to go away and be on her own.
Be on your own in the area where there's a mountain lion. Whatever you do, don't follow me. Don't stay within eyesight of me or earshot. Please go out into the brush on your own and be eaten by a mountain
Remember,
lion.
all of this is his rambling answer to her one question of why it was, what is the issue here? Why is it I'm not supposed to be following you? What is it illegal that I've done? He's just been rambling away for a minute straight here about this. And there's a little bit more. So we'll play more with Hilde Lysiak. She's 12 years old. She's a journalist, and we'll tell you more about it coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are welcome on the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE if you want to join us here. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free here, bring up whatever you want. Our number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We're sharing with you video, the audio of it, of Hilde Lysiak. She is a very young journalist, 12 years old, started when she was 8. And so she's got 4 years under her belt.
It's amazing.
An entire third of her life she's been a journalist. And there's some really interesting stuff out there. There's an interview with her that I shared a little bit from last night, because it's actually relevant to what we were talking about last night, where she gets into this ageism that she's experienced as a young person who's trying to do serious work. Like, the idea of, oh, you're just a little girl. You should be playing with toys. And she wants to go out and break news. She wants to go ahead and get the story, get the scoop.
Good for her, man.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So as she was trying to get a story in Arizona recently, she was confronted by a police officer. And he ends up getting named in some article somewhere, but I don't have that in front of me. So just, some random officer who's trying to intimidate a little girl, not even a teenage girl, but a girl on the side of the road on her bicycle. We'll play more from the audio here in moments. Also, if you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com, or your bike if you can somehow put it on your bike. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know that people love to read them, so check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages over at libertystickers.com. We go back to the phones, to the fun, and then we'll get back into the video here, the audio from that, with the 12-year-old journalist versus the intimidating, lying cop here in moments. First, Joey is on the line in Massachusetts, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Joey. Hello.
Hello.
You're on the air.
All right. So when it comes to the whole ageist deal, I find it pretty ridiculous that okay, just because of your age, I don't think that means you're not qualified to do something. I think people, instead of looking at how old you are, should look at what you've done.
Yeah,
agreed.
Absolutely. Have you experienced this in your life, Joey?
I really have. I've given my opinion on things, and other people have their own opinion, and I disagree with them. They're like, "Well, you're only 14 or da da da." It's what does that prove? Why does that make my opinion invalid? Why does that make you right and me wrong?
It doesn't make your opinion invalid, and it doesn't make you wrong or anything like that. Right. What it does is it is a convenient excuse for somebody who's up against the wall, right? Your opinion's probably, whatever the issue is, we don't even know what we're talking about here, but on whatever issue, you might actually be right, and the person doesn't want to have to admit that somebody who's been around this earth for a fraction of the time that they have been is right about this issue, and they, at age 50 or 40 or 60 or however old they are, or 25 or whatever, that they've been around for so much longer, and they're wrong about that issue. So rather than think critically about the thing that you've said, rather than address whatever cognitive dissonance it is that they're coming up against in their minds, it's oh, you're 14. What do you know? You should be playing with toys.
Well, and they obviously can't. They don't know the answers well enough, and they haven't thought about it well enough to sit down and explain to you why you're wrong, right? Because it really doesn't. Your age doesn't make you wrong. You might be wrong, but if they can't explain to you why what you believe is incorrect, then the chances are they haven't even thought about it.
That's another good point. And further, in a lot of cases, people will underestimate young people, right?
Yep.
So they'll just figure, oh, well, you couldn't understand. You're only 14. You couldn't understand why.
You might understand better, actually, because you might not have gone through the amount of brainwashing that they have. You might actually be approaching it. It's the story of the emperor's new clothes, right? That old proverb, and then you've got the emperor walking around with butt naked, but everybody's saying, "Oh, wonderful clothes," except for a young child who says, "that the emperor's naked."
You're not supposed to say that.
You're not supposed to say it, but I do think that, of course, innovation and new ideas always comes from the youth. It has to.
Sure. They're the ones who can think outside of the box.
That's right.
At least if they haven't been put in that box by the government school system, they've been thrown into. Joey, anything else you want to share on the subject? Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of the government school systems, I feel like they're just trying to basically make you a robot. It's like, oh, at this time you look at this, and at this time you learn this. Oh, and then you go to lunch, and then this and this and this. You have to go to certain things at certain times, and if you don't, you get punished. Who are you to punish me? If I find something like I shouldn't be doing, or I find it ridiculous, why should I need a piece of paper to go to the bathroom?
Yeah. You know where else they do that? Prison. That's where else they have specific times where you're expected to do things. They have bells that ring. They have passes for going places. It's a lot like prison. And it's interesting that you said that they're trying to turn you into a robot, because that's actually the purpose of the government school system.
Well, it's the Prussian school model. It was designed to create robotic factory workers, which does not work anymore, and I would much rather have.
Oh, it still turns out robots.
It turns out robots. It turns out robots, but that's going to be a really failed strategy. What we should be turning out is young people like this 12-year-old journalist who's been a journalist since age 8. Think of what she's going to be at age 25.
Exactly. It's pretty interesting. Joey, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Good thoughts. And there's no age limit here on Free Talk Live. As long as you can dial a phone, get on and speak to us, we're willing to put you on the air, because, people have different things and interesting things to say at all ages. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's continue here. More with Hilde Lysiak. She's a 12-year-old journalist on her bicycle in Arizona, reporting on a story. Decided she wanted to follow the cops because, hey, guess what? You want to find some news, follow a cop around, right? That's not a bad approach to finding a story to report on. And turns out the cop doesn't like it. He's trying to tell her, oh, I'm just trying to keep you safe. That's why I don't want you. There's a mountain lion around here. There's danger. I'm in a dangerous job. You shouldn't be following me around, little missy. Let's continue here.
The mountain lion?
Yeah.
Okay, and all right, but what exactly? I understand that you're concerned about the safety, but what exactly am I doing?
A direct order? I gave you a direct order. What? Who are you, sir? Captain, my captain. Right. What is this?
I give you a lawful order, and if you disobey a law enforcement officer, you can lie to your mother, you can lie to your father, you can lie to your priest. You can't lie to a law enforcement officer.
Sir, you're the only one who's told a lie in this encounter. I'd just like to be clear. You're the one who has lied. You lied to this girl by telling her she couldn't record your face because you didn't give her permission. False.
This is ridiculous.
She has done nothing but ask him a question. That's all she's done. She's asked it 3 times, and she really hasn't gotten a responsive answer.
What is the lie that she supposedly told to him?
It's not really clear. Maybe he'll make it clear here in the next 20 seconds.
You understand that? So actually lying to me and saying you were going to your friend's house wasn't acceptable.
No, I didn't say that.
She didn't say that.
My friend lives right there. In fact, if you want, you can knock on her door.
When you saw us leave, you turned around, you didn't even make it to your friend's house. You were saying where we were going.
Yeah, I wasn't going to my
right? Well, thank you very much.
I don't know what he's talking about. At no point did she say I was going to my friend's house. I mean,
he's crazy.
He's got some sort of narrative going on in his head about what this girl's doing, and it's nuts. There's a little bit more. You can share your thoughts with us here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free and join us here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Just head over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that are waiting for you there. I do want to let you know about ForkFest. It's coming up, the third annual ForkFest, the decentralized libertarian camping event here in New Hampshire in the summertime at the beautiful Rogers Campground, the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
It's gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
Yes.
Any excuse to get up there, I'll take it. And ForkFest is a good excuse. It's going to be coming up June 13th through the 18th. That's the 5 days prior to the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is the other libertarian summer camping festival that's been around for, I think this is its 15th year coming up this year. And that's the one that there's organizers, there's a board of directors, there's tickets. We don't have any of that with ForkFest. There's nobody who's in charge of ForkFest. It's just those 5 days were chosen by some of us who go to this thing, and there's nobody who you can't buy a ticket. So you just show up. All you got to buy is your campsite, basically.
That's great.
So that's all there is to it. So if you want to hang out with other liberty-minded folks, voluntarists, anarchists, libertarians, you can just show up and hang out and camp and do that sort of thing. Or you can create a thing. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you want to give a musical performance. Maybe you've got a poker table. You want to set up a poker game. Maybe maybe you want to have a speaker series or whatever it is you want to do. Somebody got married last year. They had their wedding. Jay Noon, one of our co-hosts,
That's awesome.
got married. So whatever it is that you want to create for people to do, you can do that. You don't have to ask anybody's permission.
That's awesome.
You just go to forkfest.party. That is a unofficial website because everything's unofficial with Forkfest because nobody's in charge. But forkfest.party is a pretty nice domain name, so check that one out. There's links there to a Forkfest Telegram group where you can connect and chat with other Forkfest attendees, people who are planning to attend, people who've attended in the past. And there's also a link to the Shire Forums, which has a Forkfest subforum on it, so you can look at pictures from last year and the year prior to that, and you can chat on different threads about what other people are planning, that kind of thing. In fact, last year there were 2 competing calendars for Forkfest to show folks what was going on because
decentralized.
Yeah, exactly. It's decentralized, and so check it out at forkfest.party as we continue.
I gotta say, man, on this, there is nothing better than hanging out in an unstructured manner with people who are speaking the same language as you, man.
Yeah, it's a good event.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's a great excuse to come check out New Hampshire as well.
Yes.
So, and if you want to make a full-on, thing out of it, then you go to Forkfest and follow it up with Porkfest, and you've got like 10 or 11 days at a beautiful
long
campground.
vacation.
It's a good time. Well, for us, we're probably going to be working there. But,
yes, exactly.
Anyway, it's fun to see, folks. It's fun to have people come up and check out New Hampshire and see what it's like to actually be around other libertarians.
It's nothing like it.
More than you can probably even know, which is a cool thing. So, forkfest.party. We go back to just a little bit left from this video, and then I'm going to go back to your calls and thoughts here on the phones. But Hilde Lysiak is a 12-year-old journalist. She was down in Patagonia, Arizona, doing some reporting on the border. And at one point, a police officer confronts her from inside of his cab. He's sitting in his truck. She's on her bicycle. And he tries to tell her that she shouldn't be following him around. That it's only for her safety, see? She's just a little girl, and so therefore he needs to make sure she's protected from the mountain lion that's been on the loose by not following the police officer around, because that's going to keep her... Wait, what? That's not going to protect her from a mountain lion? He just rambles, basically, for a minute and a half as she tries to ask him and get a responsive answer, which she never does, from him as to what it is that's illegal, because earlier, off camera, before she started recording, he threatened to throw her into juvie. And so she's like, well, what for? What is the crime
what did I do that's illegal?
That I'm committing here? Let me go on here with a video. This is the very end.
If you want, you can knock on her door.
When you saw us leave, you turned around, you didn't even make it to your friend's house. You were seeing where we were going.
Yeah, I wasn't going to my
right? Well, thank you very much. You have a great day. I'll be home getting a hold of your parents.
Okay.
For what?
Ooh, he's going to get a hold of her parents.
For what, though?
She never got the answer. So
basically, he's just harassing her, is what it comes down to.
Totally. He thought he was going to intimidate a little girl on the side of the road.
Typical.
Because he's a cop.
Typical.
And it probably usually works, right? And I was telling you during the break, and I'll tell you now, but and a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago now at this point, a little guy named Mikey. He's the son of a listener of Free Talk Live that lives in Alstead, the family. I don't know if I should give their name. But anyway, good folks. They moved to New Hampshire as part of the freedom migration several years ago. Actually, they moved while I was in jail for civil disobedience. And so his dad was writing me letters in jail talking about how it was activism like what we did here in Keene that encouraged him to make the move up here to New Hampshire. And so it was really cool to be sitting in jail for civil disobedience and reading that what we've been doing with civil disobedience was encouraging people to move. So he actually moved while I was in jail. So it was cool because I got a letter from him while they were still down in North Carolina, and then I got another one when they came up here. Anyway, his dad's a longtime Cop Block supporter, people who support the accountability of police officers, holding them accountable with video like Hilde did here. And so he taught that to his kids. And so his 11-year-old at the time son was in a little town just north of here in Keene, hanging out with his friends on a bridge, and some cop, a state cop rolls up in his Dodge Charger or whatever and tries to intimidate the kids on the bridge, and he pulls out his camera, starts recording, talks back, asks questions, and did a great job, kind of like Hilde did here, trying, defending against a man, towering, essentially a much larger human being with a gun and intimidation and the ability to arrest. I mean, most young people, most adults for that matter, are intimidated by these people.
That's the point.
They're trained to be intimidating.
Yes.
They have their ways, and they know what they're doing, and they know how to intimidate. And especially when a young person like 12-year-old journalist Hilde Lysiak here stands their ground, pulls out a camera, you've turned the tables on this cop from moment number one. And that's why he just started this. In this case, he just starts lying, saying she can't record him, and then just goes on a ramble about how he's in charge and she just shouldn't follow him around, and she should it's for her own good, it's for her own safety. And according to her article about this, which she wrote on her website, which is orangestreetnews.com, at the very end, apparently this is like not in her video, maybe right after she had maybe cut the recording before he says this. He said before driving off, and by the way, his name is Patterson, Marshall Patterson. He says, quote, "You aren't an adult, so don't act like it." What an insult.
Wait, don't you, it shouldn't, that doesn't make any sense. He
didn't make a single bit of sense in that entire
If a person who under the age of 18 is behaving in an adult manner, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Why would you tell somebody to act childish, to not act like an adult?
It's so insulting. This is that ageism that we touched on earlier with our previous caller. You aren't an adult, so don't try acting like one. Yeah. And buddy, the only person who wasn't acting like an adult in that video was you.
Exactly.
You're acting like a little bitch, like a little baby who can't handle having a 12-year-old with a video camera hold you accountable for your job and for your actions.
She handled herself so well.
She did. Now, she did make the mistake of giving up the location of her friend's house. She probably shouldn't have done that. But there really wasn't much I could say as far as like she did bad. She didn't do bad. She did pretty good.
Yeah.
For somebody who probably she's had interactions with police. In one of her an interview she conducted with, let me see here, it was I think it's brightlightmag.com. They did an interview with her late last year, just kind of asking her about being a young journalist and getting into that. And she explains in here that the police are not particularly helpful, right? Like if you're a journalist and you want to get a comment on a story or something like that, and she's already been doing that, they're not particularly helpful in that way. So she's had interactions with police before as a journalist, and I think for the average person out there listening to this, there's some takeaways from this. Don't answer police's questions. That's one thing that will get you into trouble. And if you're going to talk to them, do what she does. Ask them questions.
Right.
Ask them about what they're doing. Ask them about what they want. Ask them what they're investigating. If you're asking questions, you are in control of the conversation. That's right. So there's a little bit more on the way. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. It's Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthur decks for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life, too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Did you know the official national American flag has never been manufactured for retail stores? The one that Americans fought and died for. The one symbol that represents our Constitution. Now you can be a part of this great movement that's never been seen before. Together, we'll recapture America. Call 1-877-383-4777 or visit theofficialflag.com. Theofficialflag.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up anything that you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. So head on over there and get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners. In fact, we had somebody on the lines, but there were some technical difficulties. So hopefully we'll get him back here in just a little bit. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
Talking about what it's like to be a young journalist. Hilde Lysiak is a journalist at age 12, and she's been doing it since she was 8 years old, went down to Arizona for a story, and ended up being confronted by a police officer who was quite insecure and very upset that she dared to follow him down a road on her bicycle, and attempts to intimidate her. Rambles when she asks him a question, simple question. Well, what is it that I'm doing that's illegal, sir?
Mountain lion, Ian, mountain.
Oh,
mountain
yeah, and then
lion.
he brings up this mountain lion that's supposedly on the loose, claims he's just trying to keep her safe, that she shouldn't be following him around, so on and so forth. And then he gives her a direct order to go away, basically, claiming that that's a lawful order. Now,
what does that even mean?
Well, that's a good question, Vin, because this is dangerous territory with the police. Because if a police officer gives you a so-called lawful order, and you disobey the lawful order, you're then guilty of what they call disorderly conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And disorderly conduct is one of the police's favorite charges.
It's a catch-all.
Yeah, it's a catch-all, and they can basically get you convicted of it just because they said so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not the order was actually lawful is a hard thing to discern, because in the moment, it's their word versus your word. The officer says, I'm giving you an order. Well, you may disagree that it's a lawful order, but the only way you're ever going to get to find out is in court.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do what the officer says in that case, which usually is to leave a place or to get back or something like that, then you'll have to fight it out in court. And so generally the best thing to do when dealing with a psycho like this, this cop, like these cops can be, dangerous men with guns who can hurt you, is if they give you an order, even if you don't agree with it, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and back away. Here in Keene, New Hampshire, we had a situation with a former co-host on Free Talk Live who's since left the area, but he was reporting from the scene of a suicide attempt, which actually ended up being a suicide. But anyway, from the scene of this suicide attempt where the cops had come, they'd like cordoned off the area, and it was a man in front of his house talking to the police. He has a gun. My guy, James Cleveland from Free Talk Live, he was behind the row of houses, so he wasn't within shooting distance of the man with the gun or anything like that. But he was behind that house reporting, trying to get footage of what was going on with the police. And the police confronted him back there, and they said, you need to get back. This is a dangerous, area, active crime scene. You need to get back. So he went back. He moved back per the request of the police officer. Then they came back and told him he needed to move back further. And at that point, he was like, no, I feel like I'm safe here. Okay. I feel like I've gone back far enough. And he planted his feet there and wasn't going to move. So they arrested him and charged him with disorderly conduct and I think resisting arrest in that case. He went to trial. The jury was hung on that trial. They actually found him not guilty, I think, of resisting, and they were hung on the disorderly conduct charge, meaning not all the jurors voted in the same way. And I'm sorry, I don't recall what the numbers were as far as how many of them voted to not guilty versus guilty. But anyway, it was a hung jury. And so when that happens, the state can bring the charges again if they want to. God. They can basically just keep bringing the charges every time they get a hung jury. And so basically that meant that the jury couldn't really determine whether or not this order was lawful or, because how far is far enough? Can the cop tell you, and this was brought up in the trial by the defense attorney, can the cop tell you, I need you to move a mile that way?
25 miles? Right.
I mean,
what is the radius? What is the radius? Yeah.
So what's too far? I mean, he felt he wasn't in danger. He felt that he'd gone far enough. He went back when they asked him to initially, so it wasn't like he was completely non-cooperative with them, but it wasn't good enough of a defense to get him not guilty. So luckily, in that case, they decided to not bring the charges again, and the case got dropped. So thank goodness in that case.
But what a waste of he spent resources.
$6,000 on the attorney. Yeah.
I've been through the same sort of situation, man, where it's just like you walk away like, wow, that was a gigantic waste.
Right.
Of everybody's time and money.
So in a case like this, leaving when the cop tells you to, even if you don't think that it's the right thing to do, or at least backing away slowly. I like the Dave Ridley approach, Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com, where whenever he's in a place and the police order him to leave the place, he will go slowly. So he's leaving.
Very slowly.
Right, but he's like backing up as slowly as he can and is recording video the whole time.
That's perfect.
However, that did get him arrested at one point. There was a situation where he was in Nashua, and he was at a hotel. It was actually the old hotel that the Liberty Forum used to be held at in Nashua. He's at that hotel property. They order him to leave. He's backing away as he always does, but they were in a hurry, so they wanted to arrest him for it. And he won that case in that case because he was leaving. He was doing what they asked him to do. But again, you got to be willing to go to trial. And to some extent, being a journalist, as she is at age 12, there's some risk involved. If you're going to be talking to the police, there's always risk involved because you never know what nut job with a gun and a badge you're dealing with. And
any interaction with the police, you are risking your life.
Yes.
Like that. Do not get that twisted. Any interaction with the police, there is a chance that you are not going to walk away from that interaction alive.
Exactly. So know that in advance.
Yes.
And that's why it's so impressive to see somebody at age 12
Absolutely. It's ballsy.
Taking on a cop like this. Let's go to Jack calling from Massachusetts. Jack, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, Jack, you're on the air.
And
this whole situation with the Patriots owner, do you think it's right he should go to trial?
No. I don't think that you're referring to the Patriots owner who was busted recently for prostitution, for being a John, basically, as they called him in a place in Florida in which you can receive prostitutorial services. Yes. I'm trying to be as generic here as possible. But no, I don't think prostitution should be illegal. I don't think it should be illegal for either the prostitute or for the John, because what we're talking about here is whether it's sex or whatever it is that's going on, we're talking about two consenting people who've come together for the purposes of pleasure or whatever it is their purpose is. And they are two people who agree to do a task together, to do a job together, and that's it. I forget who said this, but prostitution involves two things. It involves the free market, and it involves sex. Yes. And there's nothing wrong inherently with either of those two things, but yet when you combine the two of them together, all of a sudden it's a crime.
Well, yeah, it's the idea that you can do it for free, all you want, no problem.
Oh, well, unless you're over the age or under the age of whatever.
Okay, fair enough. But look, we're talking in the
but
case
this old guy, this old guy can do it.
Two consenting adults, right? Two legally consenting adults. It's like, okay, if he would have said, I'll take you out I'll fly you on my private jet, I'll take you to Paris, we'll go shopping, I'll take you shopping, and I'll buy you, $1,000 worth of clothes. Come on, let's go on a shopping spree. Yep. But here's some diamonds, the whole thing, fly her back, take her on vacation, totally legal. They end up doing something and having sex, totally legal. But he just gives her the cash straight up.
Yep. Can't do that.
Busted.
It's a crime.
It's like, that is a really, really strange situation. You know what I mean?
Here on Free Talk Live, Jack, we believe that if there's no victim, then there's no crime.
Agreed.
And so in any situation, whether it be prostitution, drug use, you name the situation, whatever they're calling a crime, ask yourself this. Who's the victim? Where is the victim? Now, to be clear, we had a caller earlier who alleged, and I haven't done this research, he alleged that the woman in this case was a sex slave, in which case that's a crime, the crime of enslaving another human being.
I've not dug deeply into this, but I do, as I understand it, he is not being accused of having the woman that he saw was not one of the trafficked victims, but they had been surveilling this location for trafficking, and there may have been some trafficking going on, but they arrested patrons that they had on surveillance, and he turned out to be one of them.
Gotcha. Jack, did that answer your question?
Not really, but I think if she's over the age of 18, you can do what you want with her. Unless it's rape, and then you don't.
Well, yeah, you can't do rape. That's definitely a crime. Definitely a crime with a victim. But if it's somebody who is a consenting person, then they should be able to do what they want.
Agreed. I agree. Yes.
If there's no victim, there's no crime. And thank you, Jack, for your call tonight. Hour number 3 is on the way.
Hey now.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. What of cell phone internet access? What has it brought to Cuba? We can talk about that coming up, too.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,326. Silver opened at $15.87. And Bitcoin was trading around $3,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a federal magistrate on Friday ordered the government to disclose to him and to plaintiffs' attorneys a list of private organizations that receive access to the government's list of known or suspected terrorists. The Associated Press reports that Judge John Anderson issued the ruling at the conclusion of a hearing in U.S. District Court in Alexandria, which he angrily questioned government lawyers about their failure to previously disclose that hundreds of private entities, like universities and hospitals, receive access to the list. The government admitted earlier this month in a court filing that private groups like universities and hospitals receive access to the list, after denying in previous court hearings and depositions that they do. A government lawyer said the oversight was a mistake and there was no intention to deceive. The Council on American Islamic Relations is challenging the watch list's constitutionality. It says innocent Muslims are placed on the list by mistake and suffer numerous consequences as a result. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, February 22nd, 2019. Your news now continues. As the world increasingly turns toward automation, science fiction is fast becoming a reality as automated solutions spring up both on the battlefield and in civilian life. Activist Post reports that in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, a new type of police officer has been sworn in. It's a robot cop going by the name KP Bot. The KP Bot has already attained the rank of sub-inspector, and according to India Today, already knows how to practice a perfect salute. The KP Bot is part of a push to integrate robots into the police force, which was announced last year by the state police chief at the Cocoon Cyber Conference, according to India Today. However, the KP Bot isn't quite ready to man a black and white or engage in beat cop activities. The female-featured robot will be restricted to the traditionally gendered occupational role of receptionist. U.S. government-sponsored student loan debt has become an escalating problem for the finances of many American households. Activist Post reports that the latest household debt report from the New York branch of the Federal Reserve indicates that Americans collectively owed $1.46 trillion in student loans at the end of 2018. That's more than any other category of non-housing related debt. Worse, the percentage of student loan debt that's in serious delinquency where no debt payments have been made for at least 90 days or longer, has remained stuck within a range between 10.7% and 11.8% of the total borrowed since 2012. That's the highest of all forms of household debt. Since most of the money was borrowed from the U.S. government, the inability of American households to repay student loans represents a drain on the U.S. government's finances, where seriously delinquent student loans drive up the nation's budget deficits. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has stated that the burden of student loan debt hurts American households and will hurt the nation's economy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A report by Stanford University researchers released Thursday found that Americans spend 90% of their waking hours staring at glowing rectangles. Researchers identified more than 30 varieties of iridescent rectangles, ranging from personal and work rectangles to rectangles that heat food and those that can fit right in one's pocket.
From the moment Americans wake up, they are captivated by these bright, pulsing rectangles. In fact, if you look at the data, it's hard to find a single minute when the public isn't captivated by these. Excuse me. I'm sorry, where were we?
In local news, a run-over squirrel is remembered as frantic and indecisive. And in other news, a trail of rose petals leads a wife to a sink full of dishes. Prince Fielder reports to spring training exactly the right amount overweight, and a local yard sale reeks of divorce. If you don't hear the sound of my voice the same time next week, alert my family and then visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free. Join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. And it's Ian in the studio here.
And Vin.
We're going to go to that Discord server with Ratspeed on the line. Ratspeed, where are you calling from?
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, sorry for that mic thing. Anyway, I really have a lot to say about this because I thought it was very fascinating how there was a disconnect between the thing that you were talking about before with age of consent versus, that. Plus, all of a sudden, we're talking about Hilde. What was her last name? Lysiak?
It's spelled Lysiak. So I'm going to guess Lysiak.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like the average cop is not prepared for a child from the internet. No. It's like they are not prepared for someone who is as well versed and is well prepared to be able to take on adult on.
I don't think it has to do with it being a child from the internet, because every kid these days was raised, with a tablet in their
But
hands.
I think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying that it's like this generation has been raised with so much information that they're maybe more adult. Is that what you're trying to say?
Are you saying that you don't think that Hilde is special? Because I think she's unusual. I think that
she is, yeah.
I think that young people, whether they're on the internet or not, are still being inculcated with the idea that the police are in charge and that they need to do whatever they tell you to do, you need to do, because they're the police and they tell you what to do. That's what police do. I don't think that message is any less prevalent in young people's lives. And one of the things that she says in her interview on brightlightmag.com is these, like her friends basically are essentially sheltered. She talks about how they're basically kept at home and that the parents... Here, this is what she says. In response to a question from Bright Light, the interviewer Bright Light says, you've said, quote, I think a lot of adults tell their kids they can do anything, but at the end of the day, they don't actually let them do anything, unquote. Can you elaborate, and what are some examples? She says, it's so true. I was the only 7-year-old I knew who was allowed to bike around town. The only one. In a town of 6,000 is where she grew up.
A town of 6,000, yeah, you can bike around town.
She's the only one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She says, I have friends who... hold on, Rat Speed, the rest of the quote. Sorry. She says, I have friends who are 11, and they aren't even allowed to walk into town.
That's crazy.
She says, a lot of parents are such phonies. They say how they embrace their kids' creativity, but hardly let them cross the street without freaking out. How are kids supposed to do great things in the world if they aren't allowed to live in the world? She says, further, kids are a lot smarter than adults think. I have friends who are way smarter than I am, but because they're stuck inside their house or school all day, no one knows. She says, finally, the best thing about my parents is they get out of the way. And isn't that what we want for our lives in government? We want the government to get out of the way so we can have better lives, so we can have more freedom to become the people that, we were intended to
Practice what you preach, I guess.
And so I don't know if I buy the idea that just because kids are online that they know anything about police accountability or that they know anything about how to stand up to themselves or interact with them. You don't know anything about interacting with the cops until you do it. You can watch a bunch of videos. That's cool. But until you actually get into the streets and have a cop try to intimidate you, and then you pull out your video camera and see how you handle that, it's just theory until you get into the streets. So I don't buy that claim. Go ahead, Rat Speed.
Oh, well, going back to the question that you asked, which is she special or not? It depends on what you're asking about. When you say special, are you saying that she has some kind of innate ability to do this? Or like you just said, is it just simply that people are getting out of the way? So, I mean, we have a global platform which enables people to grow faster than ever before and learn information and have access to information and be treated as equals, so long as you don't have this prejudice that someone who's younger can't or won't or, is unable to do these kind of things, right? So the problem is that you're receiving so much resistance from legacy culture, from people who did not grow up online. And so here's the thing about is, yes, it has something to do about parenting and just basically parenting being, getting out of the way and allowing someone to grow at their own pace. However, at the same time, I also think that the internet itself has something to do with it because you have access to information, so therefore you can gain more knowledge so long as you are allowed to.
Oh, no, this is a really, and this was getting touched on a little bit earlier, but I think with the public school question, I do think that we are really doing our culture almost a existential disservice by having public schools be the same as they've always been when we've got kids who have access to in their pockets that they're not allowed to turn on. They have access to basically all the information in the world, more than any scholar 50 years ago would have been able to access for years, and yet they're being quote-unquote educated by being told to sit there and listen to someone at the front of a classroom give them just a snippet of information when they could have Googled it for themselves 20 or 50 or 100 times faster than it's being delivered to them.
The educational system today is, it's an embarrassment. It's awful. It's backwards. It's contrary to what these kids are able to learn. And I agree, Rat Speed, I agree with you that Hilde Lysiak would not exist in the form that she is were it not for the internet. Okay, so I agree with you there. The information's out there for the people who want to encounter that information. It's out there. However, your typical teenager, let's say, and by the way, I've been pleased with the young people who've called the show tonight. We had a couple very young callers. They asked good questions. They had, serious topics they wanted to discuss. And not everything has to be serious, but a lot of the times, the callers who are younger on this show, they just want to call and say the F word on the radio. Okay? So just because you have the internet doesn't mean that the person who's using that tool is going to use it to enrich themselves.
Well, it's a double-edged sword.
Right. They're going to look at a bunch of memes. They're going to look at porn. They're going to look. They're going to play video games. So I mean, just because you know what just because you're the meme king doesn't mean you're going to know anything about how to interact with the police. Right. So if you want to learn how to interact with the police, that information's there. There's a zillion cop block videos where you can watch incredible history of wonderful activists doing non-cooperation with the cops. cops. But Hilda's different because she went in a different route. She went down the responsible road and used the internet to create something that hadn't existed before, a platform for somebody who's as young as she is to be a journalist. She could never have gotten this job with a newspaper 20 years ago, right?
So maybe it's not that her parents, maybe she even, it's nice that she sees it as her parents getting out of the way, but actually they're not necessarily getting out of the way. They're just not an impediment. They're clearly helping to guide her, right? So they're being
her dad was a
mentor,
reporter.
a guide, right? So she's getting guidance as opposed to being directed and ordered and made to go in a certain place.
I think the word that we might be looking for is empowering.
Sure, or encouraging, because she's
been
clearly
allowed
courageous.
and empowered and encouraged to do all these things.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And the internet is the linchpin.
So you have these cultural tailbones, if you will. You know, people that are expecting one type of situation to arise, and then they encounter someone who has grown up with a different situation. And I have to say, a lot of this has to do with American ideals and puritanical ideals, things like that. You know, people from different countries, they grow at different rates. I hate the word develop, by the way. I'm not a piece of film. I'm a living person. So, you know, I like to use the word grow because you grow. You know, you experience things.
Right.
And different cultures have different ways of handling things. And unfortunately, this culture the legacy culture that we're holding on to based off of primitive, devolved sets of ideals, they're becoming impediments. And I think it's doing more harm than good. The culture itself is just not able to cope with this sudden rate of growth. All of a sudden, you're changing. This one guy did a TED Talk a few years back about smart failure, and about basically you're expecting the answer in the back of the book to be one thing, but
stand by. You can explain that here if you want to stick with us here, Red Speed. Hang on, I'll let you explain whatever that TED Talk thing is here in just a moment, because it sounds like it's going to take more than 10 seconds. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com with just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
I was doing my regular 11 o'clock security sweep around the perimeter of my house when I noticed a couple of young people having intercourse in the front seat of a car out in the street. So I ran inside and I grabbed my video camera. As you can imagine, I stood in those bushes for over 20 minutes watching these two degenerates grind against each other, and I'm thinking, this behavior is simply unacceptable. Now, If you think this is an isolated incident, you are dead to rights wrong. I have 36 hours of footage to prove it that I have personally collected from sickos just around my own town. For example, I saw perverts having sex in swimming pools clearly visible from the roofs of adjacent buildings, on boats that anybody could see with a telescope, at night on the beaches where they can easily be watched by anyone hiding behind a fence wearing their night vision goggles. It's simply disgusting.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free here. We're talking about being young today in the world of the internet, where knowledge of all sorts, including false information, is at your fingertips in a way that it has never been in past decades, and what that allows people to do. Yeah, it can allow them to just screw off and do what kids have done forever, which is, nothing important. Or it can allow you to break into a world that you've never, in previous generations would never have been able to do. Like Hilde Lysiak, she's 12 years old, started doing journalism at age 8 in her hometown in Pennsylvania, and has been doing so since. Made headlines this week for being confronted by a police officer in Arizona. Got some really interesting video of that we played the audio from earlier tonight. We've got Rat Speed on the line with us. We're going to continue this discussion about, what's different now, because if young people are allowed to grow, and that's the term that I agree that Rat Speed used earlier, if they're allowed to grow up in the way that they want, instead of being forced into this mold, this one-size-fits-all mold that, you got to get your high school degree, you got to get your college degree, you got to get a job, and then you'll retire and, have some kids. And, there's this sort of typical path that people have for generations been strongly encouraged to go down. And she's been able to break off of that path because her parents didn't force her to do the typical, teenage kid or little kid role of just playing with your toys until you're old enough to, do whatever it is that teenagers do when they don't work, which is screw off.
Yep.
And she started working at age 8, trying to break the news in her hometown, and apparently successfully actually breaking some stories.
Which I think, honestly, any 8-year-olds are hype to do stuff like that. If you're like, hey, you want to write some news stories? You like news? You want to write some news stories? 8-year-olds are like, heck yeah, I want to do that. It's just up to you to keep them interested and excited about it. And if you do that, of course they will.
Well, if you allow them to continue, then they'll probably stay excited about it, as opposed to telling them, no, you just need to, you need to stay safe. You need to stay at home all day. She's saying her friends are forced to stay home. They're not allowed to even get on their bicycle and bike into town. They're not allowed to even walk into town at age 11, some of her other friends, and she's the only one who has the ability to have some, they call it free-range kids. There's Lenore Skenazy made a big, real popular blog about this. It wouldn't surprise me if I went to her blog and found this story there. I haven't been there recently. But let's bring Rat Speed back on the line here. Rat Speed, you're back on. You were going to tell us something about a TED Talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's three different ones. I won't go into all of them, but I will mention their names. The first one was Sir Ken Robinson. He talked about old paradigms of education and how it's stifling creativity, right? And everyone's basically being treated like a machine. You have to go to school at the same age. If you don't conform, you're not going to succeed. That kind of stuff. He's always talked about that. And then that got into Salman Khan from Khan Academy. And he's basically talking about breaking through those paradigms by allowing people to use the internet as like a one world classroom and be able to learn at your own pace, right?
Sure.
And so then Eddie Obeng, he talked about smart failure. He was particularly talking about it in the corporate environment, but it also applies to growing up and having an education and having empowerment and abilities. People are afraid of failure. And in the workplace, they're afraid of getting fired. So you tell them to be creative and try new things and use this new internet thing that we have. And people are afraid of that. So they end up using their old thought patterns instead of the new ones. They're afraid of failure. So when it comes to kids, when it comes to young people, people are afraid of them failing. They're afraid of them hurting themselves. They're afraid of them getting into trouble or just not. And so that's the problem, is that the culture and thus the people that are trying to supposedly raise children to be successful adults they're not, because unless you have an open mind, unless you have the knowledge, the understanding of the internet, and just having an open mind and having the right attitude toward parenting, to have an authoritative, in other words, someone not authoritarian where you're, it's like, you can't do this, you can't do that, but someone who gives those abilities, gives those opportunities.
Well, the ability to fail and learn from failure is that's what life is about.
But you have to fail,
right? You have to, and so the mentality of these parents or educators or politicians or whoever it is we're talking about that promulgates this concept of be afraid of failure, right? Be afraid. It's fear-based mentality, number one, which is not a good.
Be afraid in general,
right?
Just
right.
Be afraid
Being
of
in a place of fear
of everything that goes on.
is not a place from which you can grow.
Yes.
And failure is the only real way you can grow. So you have to understand that failure is a natural part of life. It's something that you have to experience. And a parent who understands this is going to stand back. They're going to let their children fail. They're going to understand that that's important for their growth.
And this affects laws. This affects legal liabilities. There are laws in place that actually punish adults from being allowed to give people who are young better opportunities. Like, for instance, most banks, most major banks at least, won't even allow you to open up a bank account on your own. You have to go through your parents, and you have to make sure that they watch after your money, and you're not allowed to touch it. Meanwhile, you have a bunch of young people, artists in particular, who want to open up a PayPal account so that way they can take commissions, or so that they can do all these things, and they're not allowed to.
So PayPal, this is new. All of this is new, though. Like, Jonathan Haidt wrote this book, The Coddling of the American Mind, and it's like, this is honestly within the last, let's say, 25 years. On the bank tip, I remember being 12 years old. My grandfather gave me $100 and took me down, and I opened up a savings account, and I had the little book and everything. I remember going to that bank, going from my junior high, which was down the street, going to that bank and pulling money out and putting money in. And I never had my parents there. So if they're doing this, like, and so this is, that was probably what? So that was probably like over 25 years ago. So this is new. This whole thing of like safe spaces and all of this, it's like this coddling of children, participation trophies, all of that. This is not, this is new, dude. This is like the last 20 years, and it's a big problem.
I had a girlfriend who was a teenager under the age of 18 and was looking into banking laws here in New Hampshire, and there's actually not a law that prevents banks from allowing young people under the age of majority to open an account. It's just bank policy. And so in theory, there could be a bank that decided to allow a young person to open up their own account. That if you could persuade the manager that you could, you were responsible enough to do this, they in theory could go ahead and allow it. Now, how often or if that ever happens, I don't know. But it's not prohibited by law, at least in New Hampshire. There probably are some states where it is on the books in the law. But in theory, that could happen. And in your case, Vin, it may have been that it was part of the account where you just needed your mom to open it, but you may have had access to deposit and withdrawal.
Know that I needed. See, this was like an older. It eventually got bought by Bank of America. I think under these big corporate banks, they just don't want the liability, I'm sure. But back in the day, I think it could probably have happened.
Ratspeed, good call. Thanks for sharing your thoughts here with us tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whatever you want to talk about goes here. It's open phones as it always is on Free Talk Live. The live Saturday edition continues.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition. You may dial in toll free to bring up whatever you want. 855-450-FREE. Whether it's, kind of this conversation we've been having generally about young people, what was sparked off by the 12-year-old reporter Hilde Lysiak, who has been confronted by an authoritarian, intimidating cop who failed miserably at intimidating.
Epic fail.
Yeah, at intimidating the young journalist. And that led to a sort of a larger conversation about ageism. And in fact, she's got an article about that I think is worth sharing. If we get the chance, we'll do that. And just being a young person in the internet age, and also at the same time in the age of overprotective helicopter parents who just seem to never let go, and having all these ridiculous things like the participation trophies that you mentioned earlier. In fact, they even did you see the millennial monopoly thing when that hit? Late last year in like the Christmas season, apparently it was a Walmart exclusive. Parker Brothers or whoever it is, Hasbro actually owns it now. Parker Brothers is gone. It's one of those brands that Hasbro swallowed up. Anyway, so Hasbro owns it now, and they came out with Millennial Monopoly, and on the cover, it's like the Mr. Monopoly, Mr. Moneybags or whatever, kind of like done up as though he's like got all these millennial trappings. He's got like a cup of coffee. Funny. He's got like some shades. He's got a pair of headphones in, and he's got a participation trophy on his lapel.
Wow.
And like they just rake millennials over the coals in this game, and it's just it's hilarious. I've never played the game, but I watched one of the unboxings of it just to see what was in there, and they skewered the millennials, and it was really funny too, because the millennials that they were kind of targeting, like obviously some people have a good sense of humor and they're like, this is hilarious.
Well, they were triggered.
Right, the millennials got triggered and started blogging and tweeting and were freaking out over this game and like, we're never going to buy anything from Hasbro again. And
Perfect.
It was hilarious. And you couldn't find these things, man. They sold out. You had to
Of course they did.
You were paying like 3 times the price on eBay if you wanted to get a copy of it. I don't know if they made another batch since then. I haven't looked into it. But anyway, so talking about sort of that society that we're in here and what it's got to be like to be a young person and being suffocated by all the rules and controls and things like that put on your life. Let's go to David in Virginia, listening to WLNI. That's in Lynchburg on the FM band. Go ahead, David.
How are you this evening?
Welcome. You're on the air. Doing good.
Yeah. Couple of things. I think, first off, just a comment about the banking and stuff.
Yeah.
I understand did all that stuff when I was a kid, too. But you have federal laws that set the age 18, and you have lawyers that love to sue.
So maybe it is federal. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so you understand why those things kind of become restrictive.
Right.
But handling law enforcement, I've had a lot of encounters with it. I think one of the things that kind of helps is if you're a supporter of your local sheriff or state trooper association, have that decal. They kind of give you a little bit of slack.
You think that's true? Because I've heard that's BS.
Absolutely.
I've heard that they.
I don't know that that's true.
I've heard that doesn't work at all.
No, it's been absolutely true. I've had the courtesy with the state troopers. But anyway.
Now, can you just get the decal? Can you get the decal and not actually
give them money?
It? Can I just get it on eBay? Will that help?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
No,
How would they know?
You support the association.
How would they know? How would they know though? How would they know?
Because it's displayed in your vehicle window.
Right, but how would they?
It's just a decal.
It's just a decal. I could just scan that and I can make a decal and stick it. I mean, I can make custom stickers and just stick a decal on. How would they know that I had actually paid and that I wasn't just trying to get them to be nice to me?
Well, you're coming from a perspective of thinking like a criminal, and you can't always come from that perspective.
Wait, but no, you're the one who said that if you have the decal, they treat you nicely.
Right.
So I don't have a decal because I'm not trying to get treated nicely. It sounds like you might be the one who's actually trying to get preferential treatment from the police. I'm just asking you, how would they know that I had actually paid? That's all I'm asking you. I'm just asking a question.
Well, first question they usually ask, are you a retired cop?
Are you a retired cop?
No.
Okay, so you say
law enforcement, but I've worked with law enforcement.
How do you work with them?
Yeah.
I've worked with them in community organizations.
I see.
So I've had to work with homeowner patrols and things of that nature, so you get a little bit of a feel for it. And, I mean, you have good and bad experiences in law enforcement.
So when they ask you if you're a retired cop and you say no, what happens next?
If you're a retired cop and you say no?
Yeah.
No, if they ask you, are you a retired police officer, and you say no, and then what happens after that?
Usually I'd ask them the question, and that kind of gets to the point of what I was saying about encounters.
You ask them what question?
5-6 years ago.
What question do you ask them?
Usually it's first question, is there a problem? Why did I get stopped?
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'm not clear on what it is that is giving you a clue that having this police association decal is helping you. Is it not? If it's not specifically brought up by the officer, how do you know that this is giving you some sort of benefit? What evidence do you have of that?
You're fixating on that point, and I'm trying to make another point. I just made that as a comment. So
you called in and you made a claim.
Right. Yeah.
Your claim was that you believe paying money to the police association to get their decal can help you if you get pulled over. And I'm asking you for evidence for that, and you're refusing to give me any.
No, I'm not refusing to give it to you at all. In fact, I've told you several times that the way I've been treated is different from when I used to not get treated.
So you're comparing, okay, so you're comparing the difference between how it was when you were younger, before you had the decal, versus when you had the decal, and you're saying your interactions have been more pleasant. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right, and
gotcha.
and that's why I'm saying to you, couldn't you have just gotten the decal then instead of giving them anything, and wouldn't that have gotten you the same treatment of courtesy? If it's the decal, couldn't you have just gotten the decal?
Well, I don't know where you'd get the decal other than through the association, so you'd have to take that issue up with that association.
All right, what was the other point you were trying to make? Go ahead.
The point was about 5-6 years ago, I was traveling back through the state. It was nighttime, coming from Northern Virginia towards my home, and I went through the town of Gordonsville, which was in Orange County, and noticed that next to the funeral home in their parking lot, there was a county deputy's vehicle sitting there, and didn't think anything about it. Passed by a little farther up the road when I got into Louisa County, the next county, on a dead stretch of road. Well, this car came up behind me and was playing, flashing his lights and riding up my tail.
The police cruiser was.
Just kind of, yeah.
Okay.
He didn't have his flashing lights on. He was just flashing headlights.
Okay.
And tailgating me. He'd come riding up on my tail and try and push me to go faster than I was going. I didn't.
Right.
So I kind of figured what it was behind me. So when I got up to Zion Crossroad, I needed to get gas anyway, so I pulled in at the light to the sheets. Well, as soon as I hit the light, turned my signal on, the guy puts on his, the deputy puts on his lights and follows me. And so I go into sheets. I park in the bright lighted area right under one of those big lights.
Good plan. All right.
Right. So it's, plain view. Everybody can see from the inside of the store.
Yep.
And I say, they asked me to get out of the car, and I asked them what the problem is.
Now, did you have the decal on at this point or not?
Yeah, I had the decal on.
You had the decal. All right, I want to hear the rest of the story. Hang on, David. We're going to get the rest. He's pulled over. He's in a gas station parking lot by a real jerk who's riding up on his tail, flashing lights at him. Very rude officer already. We haven't even heard what he had to say. So we'll get to the rest of the story coming up here with David in Virginia. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome if you want to join us in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are coming up next. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, it is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
#1 international best-selling author Matthew David Hurtado's pain was simple. Lyme disease bankrupted him in 2009, watching bankers take everything from his family after building a 7-figure business from his couch. God called him to ministry to teach prosperity based on pain he could not tolerate in others' lives. IRS, creditors, car loans, debt. It's the Babylonian system, and you have to escape it before it's too late. Haven't you ever wanted to wake up from this nightmare? Matthew David's free quick study guide shows you what to do today to build lasting wealth in any economy. His discovery he made? It's all consciousness. Get Matthew's 7-figure quick study guide for clarity, certainty, and a proven strategy to build wealth once and for all. Visit escaperightnow.com. Do it now. It's free. escaperightnow.com for a prosperous future ahead with peace of mind. escaperightnow.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Maybe enough time to get you in if you're already on the lines. If not, I doubt we'll be able to get you on. So if you're already on, we'll do our best to get you in here. If we don't, though, if you don't get on tonight, well, there's always tomorrow night because we do this thing 7 nights per week. So you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. And you know what? If you're time challenged, it's hard to listen to a whole 2-3 hours of talk radio every single day. I don't have time for that. Thanks to the people who do, but not everybody does. We've now got video clips thanks to Eric Freerock, former cop blocker. We got him out of retirement. He's doing. He's taking our video feeds and editing, putting some images in them and making them more interesting, right? Because it's boring just sitting here watching us. So making them more.
Hey, come on.
Well, you are handsome, but he's making them more interesting visually to watch and clips, right? So you don't have to. Awesome. If you're going to share a moment of Free Talk Live, you don't want to share a whole 2-hour-long episode with your friends and family. They don't have time for that. Share a clip from clips.freetalklive.com. You go to that URL; it'll take you to Eric's YouTube channel, which is called Liberty Bits. And he's doing like 2 or 3 clips per day from like the previous shows of Free Talk Live. So, maybe you heard us talking about something and you wanted to share that out. There's a good chance there's a video clip of it. So just share that clip. Also, if you're following us on social media, including Twitter, Mastodon, and Telegram, those clips from YouTube are being posted there. So links are being posted to those places automatically. So if you're on Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com, if you're on Mastodon at toot.freetalklive.com, telegram.freetalklive.com, all 3 of those platforms, sorry, Facebook, all 3 of those platforms, you will be able to know when the clips are out and easily share them to your favorite social media. It's Ian and Vin here. Vin, you've got a show as well. It's Destination Unknown.
That's right.
What is it?
It is what do we say? 2 guys, 2 bottles of wine, 2 hours, and too much mysterious stuff for just 1 episode. So
per week. One episode per week.
One episode per week.
So easy to follow, easy to subscribe, easy to consume over on podcast and video. Y'all are doing videos.
We do
too,
video.
Right?
So youtube.com/Vin Armani. You can go to vinarmani.com or just search it on iTunes. Vin and Dave's Destination Unknown.
Destination Unknown and vinarmani.com is the website.
Yes.
All right. So we got your calls here. Let's go back to David in Virginia, listening to WLNI in Lynchburg. David, you were saying you were getting pulled over. Some cop was running up on you, tailgating you, flashing lights at you, but didn't have his blues and reds on until you started to pull in on your own to a gas station parking lot. Then he flips on the blues and reds, and that's where you left the story off. So continue, please.
All right. And I want to make a distinction. There is a big distinction between a state trooper and your local county mountie. Your local county deputies basically run according to their sheriff and how he conducts his business. And so that can be, because they're politically elected officers, it can be very different. So anyway, there were 2 of them in the car.
Hold on, are these stateies? I'm not clear. Who pulled you over? Was it state troopers or the counties?
Counties.
Okay, counties. Gotcha.
County.
Go ahead.
Right. So the county guys pulled me out. Well, I pulled in the station. Yep. They pulled up behind me. And they had their lights, turned on me, and they asked me out of the car. And 2 of them got out, and they started asking questions. Did I have any weapons? Did I have any drugs? And there was 2 of them. One was black, one was white. So one was like a supervisor riding along with the other. And I started asking them questions. And I said, look, I asked them one question. I said, what county are you from? Because I knew the vehicle that had followed me came from the previous county. And when they told me they were from the next county up, that they had been back dropping a prisoner off at a regional jail, I was like, well, you're out of your jurisdiction.
Yep.
You have no reason to even stop me. When I started confronting them on that, they packed up in their car and they took off.
Good for you.
Good for you.
So, you have to get where you can really be in a visible place.
Yeah, well, that helps,
but we
right?
Also have,
and it also helps to get video as well. So whether you're in a visible place or not, because if you were in the middle of a highway or on a dark road, some state road, and there's no gas station immediately, then most cops are going to get real mad if you're like trying to keep driving up the road.
Oh yeah, they do not like that.
They don't like that at all. But good story, David. Thanks for sharing it with us.
We do have problems here with the fake cops too.
Yeah,
that's another issue.
Well, that's another one where you could claim is, well, I didn't want to pull over until I got to a gas station but in that case, you're probably better off calling the police while they're trying to pull you over and say, hey, look, I acknowledge there's an officer behind me. I'm not trying to escape here, but I'm not comfortable. I don't know if it's a fake cop, so I'm going to keep going until I get to the next gas station. At least then it's on the record that you're saying that, because otherwise they'll try to run you off the effing road in that case. Hey, thanks, David, for the call. Appreciate it, man. Let's go to Joe. He's in Tennessee, listening in Chattanooga to WGOW. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Welcome. You're on here.
I was coming at it from a different perspective on things, so I thought I'd just give you a buzz and see what you all thought.
All right, please.
So I totally heard that last call taker, and that's definitely abuse of power for darn sure. And those guys should not be cops.
There's a lot of them who shouldn't be cops, but that's a whole other issue. Go ahead.
Well, my question is for you guys is, okay, so I am a police officer.
All right.
And that's what I do. I try to serve the community. I
You
try
city
to help
cop?
out. Yes, sir.
City Chattanooga?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Go ahead.
One of the things I try to do is I try to help. And I know that's always been thrown out. We try to help, protect, and serve. And that kind of gets lost in the conversation of things. My question for you guys and for everyone else that's listening that, closely aligns with y'all's views is, what should police officers do? If we're most of the time doing things that are incorrect, according to how you guys perceive things, what should we be responsible for, and how should we go about doing our business and our work in order to help the community and better off people? Because that's what I'm trying to do. I try to do that every day. My focus when I work is I try to get drug dealers. I try to get guys that are really hurting our community, because I don't, it's hard seeing people overdose and,
Sure.
bringing them back to life. It's hard seeing these kids in these homes that are affected by drugs. So that's my thing is I try to focus on, okay, these are drug dealers. These are guys that are trying to hurt families,
Joe, I appreciate that. And I want to.
Are you a narcotics officer?
No, sir, I'm not.
Just patrol?
I'm just regular beat patrol guy.
Okay. So what percentage would you say of the people who you either give, let's say, tickets to or arrest, what percentage of those would you say are drug dealers?
I would say about 90% of the time. 95.
So you're telling did you give tickets this week? Did you give anybody a ticket this week or arrest anybody this week?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I gave warnings. So far. Now there are situations that do call for tickets, depending on accidents. If people are, speeding 90 in this god awful rain and wreck, like for example, we had a DUI last night, wrecked into another car, totaled her car out. The the two passengers went to the hospital, and, one for a broken femur. These girls are 19, 18, 20, and this guy is a drunk driver. He couldn't go to jail right then because he broke his neck, but it's like, okay, you obviously shouldn't be driving. You obviously need to go to jail for what you do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the police taking bad, dangerous drivers off the streets. Got no problem with that.
I also have no problem with anybody defending life or property, right? So if you're defending life or property, stopping robbery, stopping assault, stopping murder, stopping rapists, stopping all of these sorts of things, I have no problem. The situation is, though, you have to admit that if 95% of the negative interactions that you are having with the public, you are dealing with drug dealers, and you're not a narcotics officer, you are in the the unicorn of police work, because every other police officer on the planet, the vast majority of things, if they're a patrol officer, that they're doing is speeding tickets, jaywalking tickets, drunk and disorderly, disturbing the peace. This is true, right? You know that what I'm saying is the truth.
Yeah, and I deal with those on a lot of occasions as well, and I try to handle it, in a manner that's professional.
And I appreciate that. And you sound like you're somebody who really is concerned. You sound like, to me, one of those cops that really did get into it to try to put stop to the bad guys and all that. And I want to say this, Joe, we're right up at the clock here. Okay, we're against the clock. Our time is limited here tonight, but you probably know, you've probably listened before there in Chattanooga. We're on every night. And what I want to encourage you to do is, this conversation deserves more than 3 or 4 minutes.
Agreed.
And I want to have that conversation with you. We're back on the air right at 7 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow night for our Sunday show. I want to invite you to call in anytime, if you're on your shift or whatever, whenever you get a break, try calling before 10 o'clock. As soon as you can before 10, because I hate running up against the clock at the end like this, because I want to keep this conversation going, because we still haven't really answered your question more than just, hey, you should only be dealing with violent crimes, because I want to talk about drugs. I want to talk about drug dealers.
Yes.
So please, I'm inviting you to call back in tomorrow night. Joe, thanks for the call. I really appreciate hearing from you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
Absolutely.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the